This is Prateek from Techstop. Today in this video we'll be talking about Terraform Import. It's a very useful command present in the Terraform wherein you can using which you can import the remote object into your Terraform state and start managing that resource through Terraform. So let's get started. So this would be the agenda. So we would be going through the Terraform command syntax and the options which are available for this command, and then we'll give a short demo related to the same. So this is the Terraform import command. So it is used to import the remote object configuration into the current Terraform state. And this is the syntax. So Terraform import, we provide some options and we give the address of the object present in your configuration which you want to relate to a particular remote object, and whose ID you will provide it here. So the ID of the remote object is given as well in the while importing the remote object configuration into your Terraform state file. Then the options which are available are config path. So you can provide the path to the Terraform configuration files, and it defaults to the current working directory. Then lock equal to false and lock timeout. So these are similar to the options which we saw in our previous video, wherein that every time a Terraform performs any operation, it locks the state file, and with this lock equal to false, you are directing Terraform to not lock it, but that can have an adverse effect. So avoid using the lock equal to false option. And lock timeout is like you instruct the Terraform to wait for this much seconds to obtain the lock on the state file. If it is not able to gain the lock on the state file after this number of seconds, then it will error out saying that it is not able to acquire the lock on the state file. Parallelism equal to n. So Terraform basically perform based on your the infrastructure which you want to create. It can perform multiple operations in parallel, and so through this flag you can define how many options Terraform can perform in parallel. By default it is set to 10. So 10 operations Terraform can do in parallel depending on what type of infrastructure, how the resources are related to each other, how much independent they are, whether they can be created independently or do they depend on the creation of the other remote objects. Then based on that, Terraform will decide how many operations it can perform in parallel. So let's switch to the Visual Studio Code to see how this command works. So this is the simple TF file which we have created, and so the required providers would be AWS, and we provided the config file location and the credential file location, and then we have defined a resource which is AWS instance, and it's named as demo EC2. So this object we haven't created on our AWS account, and we haven't provided any input to the AMI and the instance type. So what we'll do is we'll create a remote object, and which would be an EC2 instance running in our AWS account, and we'll import that object into our state file, and then we'll start maintaining that object through the Terraform. So I've opened my AWS account, I've logged in into that, and I'll create one instance. So I'll launch one instance. So I'll say demo EC2, and it would be a Linux AMI. I'll select on all the free tier eligible AMI, and the instance type I'll be selecting, and I'll select the key value pair, I'll select, and I'll select an existing security group, and I'll keep the other things to its default value, and I'll just launch the instance. So it will be launching it pretty soon. So it's in the pending state right now. We'll wait for it to come to a start state. So this is how you will be so this remote object you will be importing in your Terraform state file. So now it is in the running state, and this is the instance ID. Let's copy this as well, because we would be needing it in the import command. So let's open a terminal. So let's initialize it once. So it is downloading all the providers. Basically it's only, so it will download only the AWS provider, and then I'll just say Terraform import, and then we have the address of the instance which we want to bind, which would be AWS instance dot demo ec2, and then we have the ID. Okay, so it will start importing it. Okay, so the import has been successful. So if you see here, it would have been included in the Terraform state file. So we have this AMI and ARN number, ARN, the resource name, it is being included, and but if you see, your configuration file is not updated. But so in order to bring this configuration in sync with the state file, I'll just copy the required parameters would be the AMI, and it would be the instance type. Instance type would be T2 micro, and I'll just copy the tags as well, because it so I'll copy this. So I'll just bring it in the format required by this configuration file. So I'll save it. I'll just format it as well. So I'll just run Terraform fmt. Yeah, it is formatted now, and now I'll see if my configuration is in sync with the remote configuration, remote infrastructure. I'll just say Terraform plan. So there are no changes required. I'll just say Terraform apply. It will not do anything, but yeah, like now the resource has come under the Terraform control, and through Terraform you can basically do any changes required for this particular remote object. So yeah, this is the short demo related to the import command. Hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching it. Bye.